Hi, I'm here at Papa Joe's in Rochester, Michigan, where we're talking heart-healthy nutrition today. It's a great episode of Eating Healthy that you won't want to miss. I'm your host, Jason Wojciechowski, registered dietitian, and you're watching ONTV. Hi, and welcome to Eating Healthy. I'm your host, Jason Wojciechowski, registered dietitian. And today we're talking heart-healthy nutrition. Now, nutrition can play such a key role in the health of the heart, helping to contribute to things that can help prevent things such as heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and atherosclerosis, to name a few. But to start things off, I'm here with our first guest speaker, Chef Andrew Park. And Andrew's going to talk some about cooking techniques, and we're going to make something here. So what are we cooking up here, Andrew?
Oh, today we're going to make a turkey meatloaf. It's one of our staple items here at Papa Joe's. We make this dish to be low sodium, very heart healthy. We want to really help people make smart choices when it comes to their dining habits and eating out and things like that. So today we're just going to jump right in and make a turkey meatloaf. Show you how it's done. So,
sounds great.
All right. Today we're going to start out first. We've got about 1.5 pounds of fresh ground turkey here. I got this actually from downstairs at our meat counter. They grind it twice a day, so beautiful stuff. We have about 1/2 cup of diced white onion, 1/2 cup of diced red pepper, maybe about 1/2 pepper each is what you're looking at. 1/2 pepper, 1/2 an onion. We're going to add our 2 eggs in here. We do use a all-natural egg for this. Now, all-natural is an important item to us closer to the farm. And the closer you get to where things come from, the better it is as an ingredient, is the way we feel.
Right.
When you have something that's minimally processed, there's no added salts, no added anything like that.
Preservative.
Things like that, right? And that's bad stuff for you, you know?
Right.
It's not good for your heart, not good for your whole body. So we try to keep things as close to the farm as we can around here. You see here, we've got maybe 7 ingredients. This is not hugely processed. This is not something that is going to be 27 things and you don't know what half of them are. You know
So
what I mean?
it's a pretty simple recipe.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Great.
And it's real simple to make. It's something that you can throw together at home in 20 minutes and have a really good dinner for your family that's actually really healthy for them as well.
Great.
Okay. I've got about 2 cloves of garlic here, minced up. I have about 6 basil leaves here, minced up finely.
Okay.
I've got about 6 sprigs of thyme, cleaned and minced up as well. Our next step here, we add a little bit of olive oil because this recipe, obviously turkey, has absolutely no fat in it for the most part, and when they grind it downstairs, they trim all the fat off. You want it to be as lean as possible.
Okay.
But if you don't add any fat to it whatsoever, it gets really dry and it's not quite as appetizing. We use olive oil. Olive oil is very good.
It's a better type of oil
exactly.
than, say, like a vegetable oil.
Yeah, exactly. It's got a lot of the weird word things for your heart that people love to talk about all the time, you know.
Right.
And then we use sea salt and we use fresh black pepper. We use sea salt. It's not necessarily better for you, but it has a better flavor, in our opinion.
Okay.
If you use that, it's got more of the real trace nutrients in there that there's not a lot of science on, things like that, but to me, something that has been used for hundreds and hundreds of years is probably better for me than something that was made in a factory that they add things to. So get your hands in there, mix that up real good. You want lots of good flavor?
I'm ready to get this going and get my hands dirty here.
Well, the key getting that all mixed in together, you don't want any part of it to be bland at all. So you get all the ingredients in there, get them nice and infused.
Okay.
Yeah, just like that.
Just like that.
All right, now I'm going to add your panko breadcrumbs. We use a panko breadcrumb instead of a fine breadcrumb because it doesn't take as much.
Okay.
Obviously, there's no sugars or anything like that in that then. Panko is it's a Japanese style breadcrumb. A lot lighter, a lot airier. Then you don't have that as much. So you're not adding those carbs, that gluten or anything like that as much to the recipe.
So I'll just keep mixing. Yep. Okay, great. Now, if someone doesn't want to use panko, let's say, is there another type of?
They do have a whole wheat breadcrumb out there that works very well. Or if you're looking to make it gluten free, you can use a rice flour or a soy flour, something like that as well, which would be just fine.
Fantastic.
All that's going to do is going to take that egg and bind with the turkey and make it so it sticks together when you bake it off. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
All right.
that looks pretty good there. Now you're going to take
Okay.
that whole piece right in the center of the pan. Now we do a free-form meatloaf,
Okay.
which is no pan because we like to get the air around it and get some good color on it. You'll see when we're done.
Okay.
And when we shape this, we just shape it in kind of that loaf shape.
Okay.
Okay, kind of like that. Make it down kind of nice and small, nice and smooth. Yeah, there we go.
Just like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
It's really easy to
Yeah, very simple.
maneuver.
And you see how it's stuck together like that, where it's not falling apart. If you don't add enough egg or enough breadcrumb or whatever, it's just going to fall apart. You don't want that. So, okay, we're going to put this into a 350-degree oven, preheated. It's going to take about 40 minutes. The way we check these, and the way I recommend everyone to check it, obviously this is a ground poultry product. We all carry around a thermometer. Stick it in, done, 165. You're done. Then you're not going to hurt anybody. So,
Fantastic.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so when this is done, it comes out of the oven. Our final step with this is beautiful.
Wow,
Came
look
out
at that.
through the magic of television. It's done already.
Fantastic.
We top it with a no salt ketchup,
Great.
which is a really good option. We also have a no sugar ketchup, which I use a lot at my home because I want to eliminate sugar out of my son's diet. So we're going to go ahead and use that no sugar or low sugar option today.
Great.
We're just going to squeeze that right on top.
Oh, that looks delicious.
Okay. Doesn't take much.
No.
About a half a cup. Brush it on. This goes back in the oven for about 10 minutes to glaze it up.
Okay.
And you have yourself a turkey meatloaf, just like that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now you can use, I used all fresh herbs in this obviously. You can use dried herbs if you have them. We use fresh herbs here because they retain more of their nutritional content.
Okay.
And I just like their flavor a lot better. It just tastes bright and fresh and things like that.
Okay. Now, if someone doesn't want to use herbs or something, is there something else they can use besides that at all?
Well, you can add more peppers to it. We use
Okay.
just red peppers today. You can use
Okay.
green, yellow,
Okay.
add a little bit of hot pepper to it. You know, turkey is a very neutral meat.
Right.
Unlike a beef or say a lamb, it's got really strong flavors. This is very neutral. You can add, if you like, say you like really spicy things, add a lot of hot pepper in there. That's really good, you know.
Right. Okay.
If we actually, when I make one at home, my wife hates thyme.
Okay.
Can't blame her. She doesn't like it. We use a lot of oregano. She loves oregano, so loads of oregano in it, and it's just delicious. So.
Great, great. So it sounds like this is also a recipe you can kind of work with.
Absolutely.
And
make it your own.
make it your own.
For sure.
Fantastic, fantastic. So with that in mind, I mean, you're using turkey here. Let's talk a little bit about lean meats as it is, not that we're on that subject. What are some lean meats you can look for in the store for those who want to cut down on the red meat?
You can use, this is obviously the ground turkey.
Right.
Ground chicken is a very good option. It's very similar in taste and texture, but it's got that chicken flavor. Some people don't like turkey so much, some people like the chicken. Now, as you mentioned, you can get in, the red meats are kind of, we're trying to avoid those. There are some leaner cuts of red meats as well that you can get into to use. When you're looking for, my dad hates everything other than beef.
Right.
When we make meatloaf at home, we try to buy the leanest grind we can find. Because really the dangerous part of ground beef or red meat and things like that is the fat that it gets. It's got those really bad cholesterol in it. So if you can eliminate that fat out and do the same thing, add the olive oil instead of using a real higher fat beef, you're going to be able to help your heart that way as well.
Okay, great. Well, that's great to know. Yeah. So other things you can do, we talked about lean meats, we talked about oils. You talked a little bit about salt. What about and processed foods? What's some advice for those people who are looking grocery shopping? Because it seems like these days nutrition labels have all these ingredients, and it seems it's almost like you're uncovering this whole mystery in some ways.
Absolutely.
What would you suggest for people? Is there anything you could suggest?
I have a very simple rule when it comes to shopping. The fewer things on that label, the happier I am with the product.
Okay.
If I want to buy something and it's got 7 ingredients, 5 ingredients, and I can see what they all are, more likely than not, that's going to be something that's good for me. Obviously, when you get into the math, you get into the sodium content, the percentages, and blah, 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 all that stuff doesn't make any sense. The lower it is on the ingredient label, if the salt's the last ingredient, that means it's got less than it's the second.
Right.
So we're looking at, you want to limit the amount of salt you can put into your diet, and those are real easy things that you can do.
Okay. Well, that's a great tip. So. I think I just wanted to thank you for being on the show. You know, this was great. That turkey meatloaf looks just delicious.
Oh, it looks delicious. How about we try a piece
I
while
think
we're
we
at
should
it?
try some. That's why I'm here, really. But it looks great.
And you can see inside
Wow,
there.
look at that inside,
Look at that nice
too.
color there, really bright white.
That's something you could really just even make for not only your family, but for people coming over.
Oh,
or anything
absolutely.
like that.
Absolutely.
Great.
Bon appetit.
All right, let's dig in a little bit. That's wonderful.
And again, very little salt. You saw I put maybe 6 or 7 turns on that, less than a half a teaspoon. Got a low sugar ketchup on top. Very, very low fat.
And it's very tasty.
Exactly.
I mean, very kind of a moist texture to it. Very good. Well,
the fresher the ingredients you get in there, the more you're going to be able to taste it. You know, if you buy the fresh peppers, buy the fresh basil, it's just going to be flavor explosion. You're not going to need the salt. You're not going to need the fat. You're not even going to know what's gone.
fantastic. Well, thanks for being on the show today, Andrew.
Absolutely.
For all those who want to check out this turkey meatloaf recipe, you can find it on Papa Joe's website. Coming up next, we're talking to the wine guy, John, from Papa Joe's, as we talk about the heart health benefits of wine. You're watching Eating Healthy on ONTV.
Hi, I'm Tammy Taramina. Hi, I'm Anthony Taramina.
Hello, I'm Ian Witherspoon, and I'm between Terminus. And you can be too. Every Friday at 5:30 here on ONTV.
Welcome back to Eating Healthy. My next guest here is John Patras, and John is known as the wine guy here at Papa Joe's. And thanks for being on the show, John. I understand you have a lot to talk about wine, so I guess to start it off, how did this all begin? How did wine become such a huge topic as far as providing benefits to the public?
Well, you know, you probably are talking about the hottest issue with red wine right now, and that is the health benefits. The history of it goes back 1992. There was a famous doctor in the Languedoc region of France, and area was interesting because it was very tough and very rugged. And he made a very bold claim that if you drink his wine for 6 months, you will have 40% less risk of any type of heart disease. Well, that was unheard of at the time. And 10 years later, they went back and re-looked at that study and found out that not only were these people 40% better off with their heart, but that their blood pressure had improved. They were losing weight. This 4 to 10 ounces of wine a day seems to be the little sweet spot for what wine benefits will do for you.
Okay. So it's really over the years, not just right at the beginning when they first did the study. Through the 10 years, it's really still showing the same results, you're saying?
Yes, and to be very honest with you, we all knew that red wine was good for you the last time you took a piece of steak and had it with a glass of wine. However, what we didn't know was that the skins of the grape were so very important, and they contain a compound or a group of compounds that are called polyphenols. It's these polyphenols that are being credited to all the new strides in red wine benefiting for the human beings.
Great. Well, that's great. Sounds like they have to offer. And you've got some wines here, I understand. That
Well, the first wine that I brought was the wine that really, it's imported by a local man. He is from France, and it comes from the Languedoc region. And Jean-Jacques is a man that came to me and said, you cannot have the wine that started the revolution, and this is the one that started. But some of you may remember 5 or 6 years ago, Discovery Channel had the 5 places in the world that the people were the healthiest and living the longest. One of those places was Sardinia. And that little island that is next to Sicily, for some reason, in those polyphenols that red wine skins of the grape have, is known to have very age longevity factors in this wine. And the average age of people in Sardinia are 96 years old.
Wow. So, like, how long are some of these people living for then? If you're saying the average is 96, it's got to be much higher.
Well, there's people 114, 116 years old.
Wow.
But a little deceiving for our American friends are that they average a bottle and a half of wine per day.
Okay.
So you could actually make that assumption that anybody would be, that would be excessive where we look,
Right.
where we come from.
Okay, great. Well, that's something to keep in mind. What else do you have there then?
Well, if you've ever had a Sicilian wine, you would know this wine is almost like drinking the sun. That little area, Sardinia and Sicily, is known to have some of the most health vibrant wines that are coming out of the world. This last wine right here has been in the States probably no more longer than 6 months. It uses a very odd grape called Pericone, and in this polyphenol is a ingredient that is a known cancer fighter. And when we read this, we saw some people are calling from all over Michigan asking for the cancer wine. Now that's not really fair to say this wine is going to absolutely, it just means that this wine is going to have a less likelihood of you developing something like that. Now, is it proved by the Harvard Medical Association? Not yet. But right now, it seems that all these benefits to Americans and to everybody is really more about they're not actively doing the research on humans yet. It's still that new. So to tell you that yes, there's a study that shows women will have no kidney stones if they drink this wine. Yes, that there is a less risk of colon or lung cancer if you drink 4 to 10 ounces of wine per day. Yes, there's going to be a lot of benefits that you're going to do from having moderate consumption of wine. You can't go on Friday night, drink 2 bottles of wine and say, I got all my wine for the week. You really need that 1 glass or 2 glasses a day, and that's it.
Okay. Now you mentioned some kind of fancy grape there. If I remember, it's Pericone.
Pericone.
And I've never heard of that before. Is it grown anywhere around here?
It's only grown in Sicily in the Marsala district. And the way that the story goes is there were some people that were walking through the area and they noticed that everybody looked healthy. The children were tall, nobody was sick, and they started talking about it and they said, it's our local wine. So they started testing this local wine. Now, of course, the government's involved and they're growing this on a much larger scale to get to this polyphenol, which is that known cancer fighter or slow downer.
Wow.
Whatever you may call it.
Wonderful.
So it's brand new. It's only, and an interesting thing, we have a local doctor here who graduated from University of Palermo in Sicily, the same medical school, and this was by the director of oncology. So he was the blood doctor. He is the dean of and it's definitely showing to improve people's health without question.
Great. Well, that's great. Great. Now, as far as these wines here, what else do you?
Well, the other thing that we wanted you to know, that we want everybody to know, is this. I can't tell you how many people come in here, and most Americans, as they say all over the world, we have a little sweet tooth. And so many hundreds of you who come in here and you drink Rieslings and sweet white wines. There are now flooding the market with red wines that are absolutely full of the polyphenols that are good. These are all semi-sweet wines. So now the average American, and they're not expensive, they're $9, $10 a bottle. But now you can start to get the benefits that the Europeans have been getting for years and actually like it. Nobody's going to drink a wine, whether it helps you or not, if it tastes horrible to you. And right now I would suggest to you that, the major ingredient in all this is this polyphenol called resveratrol. And I don't want to get too technical about it, but this resveratrol is known to slow down the constriction of blood cells around the heart. We know for a fact that drinking a glass of red wine a day will help you, less likelihood of a stroke, and will definitely help and improve your blood and your heart. Now, will this candy bar that has the equivalent of 50 glasses of red wine, which is also inundating the market right now, everything is resveratrol, resveratrol, resveratrol. We don't know if this candy bar is going to help you that much, but we do know that commercially everybody is jumping on this one polyphenol called resveratrol, which is known to help the heart.
Great, great. Now, as far as, let's talk a little bit also, what about alcohol so much?
Alcohol is the big kind of common denominator that they're not sure about, because the scientific community has agreed that red wine has helped. What they have not agreed upon is whether it's the alcohol in the red wine or it's the red wine itself.
Okay.
Having said that, though, drinking non-alcoholic wine will absolutely help you get all the benefits of these wines without the alcohol. Remember, the benefits come from the skin of the grapes. One more thing about those grapes. The wines, the grapes that carry the most of the resveratrol are the wines that are what they call, they make them struggle. They plant them in dirt and poor soil. They make them struggle to live. Those type of grapes have a much higher concentration of the resveratrol than grapes grown like on a flat land in your backyard or in other places like that.
So how is alcohol introduced into the wine then?
Well, you know what? I guess we should really talk real quickly about the basics. When the grapes come in, they're crushed, and you've got grape juice. It will continue to be grape juice until you add the yeast. And once you add the yeast, you start the fermentation. So one of the tricks with some of these wines is that they bring the wines in, they make the grape juice, they cut it in half, store half of the grape juice, add the yeast, and ferment the other half. Then they blend the two back together, and you have these type of wines right here. That's exactly how they're made.
Now, as far as wine goes, because you keep saying, well, it's red wine, red wine, red wine. And I assume it's this resveratrol that the red wine grapes have that the white wine don't. Why is that so much?
Well, all the goodness of the wine, all the benefits from the wine really come from the skin. Now, you can imagine that skin is being beaten down by 150 days of hot sun. So it's in the skin. Because red wine is submerged with the skin gives it the color. You will absolutely not get these benefits in white wine. You will only get them in red wine.
In red wine only.
And I hate to say that because, the other half of the scientific community would say, keep going with your white wine because it's the alcohol that's helping your whole body anyway. But in reality, when we talk about these cancer fighters or these things that go to improve blood sugar and obesity and things like that, that's only in the skin of the grape, and it's the red grape.
Okay,
unfortunately.
And you're saying, like you said before, and there's only about 1 glass to 2 glasses per day.
Yeah, we really are talking moderation. You're absolutely right. What we're on this show or Papa Joe's is not suggesting that everybody drinks 3 bottles of wine a night. That's not what we're suggesting. And remember, if you're going to have 2 glasses of wine, you need to be home. Okay, you can't be having 2 glasses of wine and driving anywhere.
Very good point. Safety is always very key. So,
well, you know what? The Europeans, let me just kind of end this by saying, the Europeans have always felt that the first glass of wine of the day is for your health and the love in your life. The second glass is to help you sleep. They don't mention anything about the third glass, but the fourth glass promotes violence. So I guess what they've been saying through the beginning of time is 1 or 2 glasses of wine are fantastic for you. A third isn't going to kill you, but we are talking moderation.
Okay. Well,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
When we come back, we'll be talking about some foods you can add to your daily routine that are heart healthy. You're watching Eating Healthy on ONTV.
This is you, and this is your community. You have a great idea, but how do you get that idea to your community? ONTV has your answer. Get your idea on cable and into your community. Get your idea on TV.
Hi, and welcome back to Eating Healthy. Now, to wrap up the show, I'm going to be discussing some foods you can add to your daily routine every day that can be helpful to the heart. So, I'm going to start out by talking about some fruits and vegetables that I think will be real beneficial. And when we talk about fruits and vegetables, it's key that we talk about the skin of them, because the skin of a lot of fruits and vegetables contains fiber, and that fiber is what helps lower the bad cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol. So anything like berries, apples, pears, those types of fruits are very good for you, and they're real easy to add to your daily life, whether it's through putting some in your cereal in the morning or having them for a snack, or even just putting them in yogurt or having them for a little dessert. they're very easy to add. They have not too many calories, and they're great in so many different ways. Now, as far as fruits go, people often ask about juices. The one thing that juices have, though, is a lot of added sugar to them, so that also increases the calorie amount. So if you're going to drink some juice, yeah, there are some health benefits to it, including the heart, but not as much as if you get it from the raw form. Now, as far as vegetables go, there's many vegetables out there that are great. Your carrots, your peppers, your tomatoes, green leafy vegetables. And what research has shown is that the variety of color you get, the more variety you get, the better it is for you overall in health, not just for your heart. As far as green leafy vegetables go, they help a lot with blood clotting issues. As far as vegetables go, you can make an easy salad and do a lot of other things like taking foods for snack, carrot sticks, celery sticks, cut up peppers, and you can really do so much with these fruits and vegetables, just adding them to your life. Now, there are other foods and beverages out there that can really help your heart, and I'm going to start talking about beverages. John did a great job of covering wine, but there is also tea and coffee I'd like to discuss. Tea is very beneficial to the heart in the fact that research shows it decreases blood pressure and helps with blood flow. Now, this isn't just any tea. We're talking more about black tea and green tea. And a cup a day or 2 cups a day can really contribute to helping your heart out, as well as providing a lot of other benefits. As far as coffee goes, there's a lot of debate. Research really contradicts each other, and this goes for both caffeinated and decaffeinated coffee. Some research shows that coffee does help with diabetes a little bit, controlling your blood sugars a little more, but at the same time, it has shown to raise your cholesterol. So as far as that goes, some of the media is promoting it, but it's too hard to determine whether it really is a heart-healthy friend or not. One thing you have to keep in mind, too, is that these beverages have caffeine, so if you drink an excess amount of it, that's going to be harmful to the heart, throwing off the heart rhythm, as well as increasing blood pressure. As far as other foods go, there's a whole range of foods, and I'm going to cover some select popular ones. One popular food is oatmeal. Oatmeal helps to lower your cholesterol. It has the same kind of fiber that a lot of your fruits and vegetables do. And in doing so, it's a great morning addition to your, and can really start you off well. And the thing about oatmeal is you can throw a lot of things in there. You can put nuts or berries or other things that can really help boost your health. Since we've talked about nuts, and I've brought it up, that's another great heart healthy food. People get concerned because nuts do pack a little more calories. However, they have a lot of the good fats, the omega fats, and can really help as heart healthy goes. Just an ounce or 2 ounces of nuts a day can really be good for your heart and decrease risk of heart disease greatly. Also along with that is fish, and I bring up fish mainly tuna or your canned salmon. Even if you have like a tuna salad sandwich for lunch, that's going to provide a lot of the good fats, these omega fats that are heart healthy and help a lot with controlling your cholesterol. But the one thing you have to keep in mind is that tuna and a lot of those other fishes, they come in cans. So you want to get a low sodium type, one that's not as high in salt, because that can contribute to high blood pressure if you have a high salt intake. So that wraps up our show. I hope you learned a lot. I want to thank everyone from Papa Joe's, John and Andrew as well. If you have any questions for Papa Joe's, call them at 248-609-5670. They are located off Orion Road and Tinkin Road. If you have questions for me, you can email me at jasonwojo1234@yahoo.com. That's JASONWOJO1234@yahoo.com. From all of us here at ONTV, I just want to say keep eating healthy, and I will see you next time. Take care.